going to make it happen.
Hi, welcome to Neighborhood News. I'm John Sylvia here with Carlos, Cesar, co-host. And we're back again, Carlos?
Yes, we're back again, and it's Tuesday nights, 7 o'clock, yep. Channel 95. Absolutely. We're back with one more guest, and for those Portuguese out there, bem-vindos a mais programa das suas notícias da sua vizinhança. É terça-feira, 7 horas da noite, no canal 95. Nós voltamos para mais notícias da sua vizinhança. E hoje, como acontece no passado, nós estamos aqui com mais convidados.
Okay, and I knew every word again.
Maybe and I didn't know Don would do
Well, we're going to.
I'm going to tell you what. Thank you for having me, gentlemen. I really mean that.
And welcome, City Councilor Mitchell.
Ray Mitchell. Yeah. And you know, I thank both of you for having me. It's a great opportunity to talk about an initiative that we have just taken in the city that I think is going to be very helpful to our veterans.
Okay. So do you want to discuss, Ray, how this came about then?
Yeah, what happened, I went to a Home Depot. Okay. And I was told that if I was, well, there was a gentleman ahead of me, and he was told that if he was a veteran, he could get 10% discount. And I said, well, I'm a veteran. And the girl said, well, can you prove that? And I said, well, I got my Geneva Convention card. And she said, well, she said, is it a picture ID? And I said, no, it isn't. So she said, you need a picture ID card. Then I went to Lowe's, and I was buying something, and I was with my wife, and I said, do veterans get a discount here at Lowe's? And she said, yes, they do. And I said, well, I've got a Geneva Convention card. And she said to me, well, you need a picture ID. And I said, okay, and this happened on the same day. So the very next day, I went to Ray Haig, and I said, do we have any, who is the veterans agent, I might add, and I asked her if there was any ID cards that veterans could get at the Veterans Office here in Fall River, and he said no. And I said, do you realize that there are benefits for veterans that have a picture ID card? And he said, yes, I've been made aware of that. He said, but we don't have one. I said, well, then we've got to change it and make this happen for veterans. So working with the administration and Ray Haig, I asked that we put together a veterans ID card. And this is a card that, this is Ray Haig who came up with the card. And unfortunately, I spoiled it. They spoiled it by putting my face on it. But
cool.
But it's a veteran ID card, and there are many businesses throughout the United States that give veterans a 10% discount. And I never knew this, to be quite honest with you. And there are many businesses right here in Fall River that do. And Ray Haig has a list of those businesses that will give veterans a discount. And you know, I mean, I personally feel, and I know because I'm a veteran, it sounds like this is somewhat self-serving, but I am trying to help veterans, and I'll tell you why, because so far in my life, I have been somewhat successful, okay? But there are some veterans that, I mean, 10% makes a huge difference to them. And if we can help those veterans, it's so important. And as far as I'm concerned, especially with the holidays coming, I think this card could be very helpful to veterans. So at the very next city council meeting, I'm hoping to issue the first veterans ID card officially. These were made just to show people what they were going to look like. There was one of myself, for myself, and one for Ray Haig, but these will not be used until such time as we issue one at the next city council meeting, and I'm looking forward to seeing that person receive that card. And any veteran who would like can go up to the Veterans Office, and we have an application that is filled out. And these cards only cost a nickel.
Wow.
Okay, that's all this card costs. It costs us less than 20 cents to issue you a card if you're a veteran. Okay, all you have to do is go up, provide your 214. Ray Haig looks it up. Okay, more than likely if you're up there, he has a copy, and you live in the city, or I should say, if you came from the city and left from Fall River, regardless of the branch of service, he can look up your information because he has it there, and he can issue you a card like this. And I think these cards, with the picture and everything else, is less than 20 cents. Wow. So there's no large amount of money expenditure to do it. I mean, it's relatively inexpensive.
And at that cost, it's no excuse for them not to have this card.
Well, exactly. I mean, and we're not charging you anything.
Exactly.
Okay? So if you're a veteran, you go up to Ray Haig's office, fill out the application. Ray, at that point in time, if you got your DD-214, which any serviceman knows what a DD-214 is, you take it up there. If you don't have it, Ray can look it up for you. Okay?
Cool. Well, you know, it's interesting because I was reading in the paper, I think Sturbridge Village had something in like the Herald News where if you're a veteran during Veterans Day, come on in. And I'm like, well, how would you get in if you don't have an ID card? Because I know that they're going to, so that's a great idea where you're going to bring your discharge, but now we have that card. So, I mean, that's great that you put that together.
Well, you know, especially with the holidays coming up, I mean, it'll help some families, hopefully. And, you know, unfortunately, we have some of our Vietnam era veterans have fallen on hard times, some of them. We have had a couple of unfortunate conflicts since that point. And there's a lot of boys coming home from the service. And to be honest with you, this very day, I was just talking to Rob Mellion about how we can get returning servicemen jobs. And I'm going to be meeting with him in the near future to talk about how we can help those young men make the transition from service to back to civilian life, and try to get them jobs where they can provide for their families. And this very day, Rob Mellion and I were talking about that, and I'm going to be meeting with him next week. And we're going to sit down and see if we can't make something like that happen. But I'll tell you, as I said, I think that we owe a huge gratitude to our veterans. And the reason being is the freedoms that we enjoy, that we take for granted each and every day, they come with a price. And we've had boys here in Fall River, such as Scott Andrews and Robert Barrett, who have paid the ultimate price to ensure that the freedoms that we have, they have paid the ultimate price. Nothing is for free.
I think, you know, at least one positive, Ray, is with this. I know you were saying you were in during the Vietnam era. I see that on your card. And back then, I think it was a little different than it is now. At least people, you know, they may not always support whatever conflict is going on, but they always support the troops. And I think that's very important. And we didn't do that back in Vietnam. You know, so that's one positive thing that's come out of this, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Back in the Vietnam, there were many boys that came home and they were looked at with disdain. And, you know, all as they were doing is they were doing what their country asked them to do. And it was unfortunate the way the people coming back from Vietnam were treated compared to World War II or the Korean War. But unfortunately, those were the times, and you know, you can't cry over spilt milk. But we can learn from our mistakes that happened at that point in time. And that's hopefully what we have done.
Yeah, no, I think
although some people look at me and thought I was in the Second World War, but
but I think that you look good for that.
Huh?
You look good. You look good. But you're not going to have problem with the city council approving something like that.
No. Oh,
I think that's going to...
Oh, the city council, to be honest with you, I proposed this last spring. And we've been working on that since this time, myself and Ray Haig have, along with the administration. And we've been working on, you know, coming up with how we were going to, the card, the companies. When we give you a card, we're also going to give you a list of companies who have said they would honor these cards, and it's not a small list. And on Veterans Day, believe it or not, I believe there's companies like Applebee's and 99 and a few of those companies or restaurants that also honor veterans, okay? If they take their family out to eat, they get a discount, okay? So it's
good.
Yeah, it is good.
It's a good, yes.
I think it's going to be a good program. I think it's going to be well received. And like I said, though some people might say, well, because I'm a veteran, it's self-serving. I don't look at it that way. I'm looking at it as how it can help the masses.
No, I mean, I think because you are one, you are in both sides of the fence. You serve the country, and now you think you're in both sides. Now you know how much the veterans deserve something like that. Yeah.
Well, I do. And, you know, I wear this, the soldier I wear this for was a Marine, and this is Corporal Fagundes, Paul Fagundes. He did not die in the war, but he was a true hero, in my opinion, because 3 of his fellow Marines were drowning, and he dove in to try to save them. And unfortunately, he drowned too. And his mom one day gave me this and asked me to wear it, and this is like 3-4 years ago. Well, 3 years ago, I think it was, and I've worn it ever since. And I wear it to honor not only Paul Fagundes, but all Marines, such as Scott Andrews and Paul Barrett, and we've lost Mr. Gonzalo, and there was Mr. Poole, and I also had a cousin, Gamache, who was a cousin of mine who served over in Iraq and had just got married, and he and his wife getting together for the first time, and unfortunately he died in a tragic automobile accident. So, I mean, when I wear this, I think of all of them that we've lost here in Fall River.
Very good.
Well, you are the head of the Public Safety Committee. What's been going on there that you could tell us about?
Well, I'll tell you, the Public Safety Committee, I'm very pleased with some of the steps we've made. And I have 2 of my colleagues who are very supportive of that committee, and that's Mike Mioza and Dan Rigo. You know, there are things that we have put together, such as we're trying to get that we brought to the full council, such as getting the crosswalks. It might not sound like much, but you know what? It's a public safety hazard when crosswalks are not clearly marked. Also, at the last meeting, as a matter of fact, Carlos, I heard that the Flint Neighborhood Association could not get a Flint Pride Day, and that really upset me. So I asked that it be sent to the Public Safety Committee, because I heard that both the police and the fire were opposed to it. And we got everybody in the room, and the police chief said he had absolutely no problem with it, and the fire chief said he had absolutely no problem with it. Now we have sent that very issue over to the Economic Development and Tourism Committee so that they can act on it, and let's get that done. You know what? We have got to ensure that our businesses in Fall River, whether they be up to Flint or downtown or anywhere else in the city, that they are able to show what wares they have and help those businesses. You know, a lot of people don't realize, John, that the backbone of any community is its small businesses. It's not your big businesses. The backbone is your small businesses. Your big businesses do employ a lot of people, and they're very vital to our, not only our economy, but to our way of life. But I want to tell you, the small business person is that guy. That's the person that can never be overlooked. It's so vitally important.
And the business, small business, are always open more and more. Just today, I had to pull up 2 permits for 2 business opening on the Flint, and one of them is the mechanic garage
Okay.
that was closed for
Auto
2 weeks.
mechanic?
Auto mechanic was closed for 2 weeks, and it's rented again. You know, so I mean, it's fast they go, they get opening again, and
Well, see, I like to hear about businesses opening, not businesses that are closing.
exactly. No,
Okay.
I mean, in this case, he left the city. He went for California, but the garage was there, and could be, you know, the garage could be there sitting for rent for how long? God knows. But in 2 weeks, gotta rent it again, and it's open again. But to go and to give you the updates on the safety meeting, this morning I had the meeting with the administration, with the police, the fire, and we're closing Cash Streets and Thomas Street December 8th for the Christmas carols. And after I met with them, they said, I mean, it was so easy. You don't need to pull up no permits for this event. You need nothing. You're not going to be making food there. You're not going to. You need a parade permit so we can close the streets for a couple hours. That's the only thing that's easier to do.
And I'm going to tell you, if there was a food event up at the Flint, these things are possible. If we could do it downtown, we can do it in the Flint. And if we can do it in the Flint, and we can do it downtown, we can do it in the Globe area. I just think it's so important that our business people who are, in some cases, struggling, if they can get the people to know that their business, there's a lot of people that just don't go up to Flint that much, but if you have a Flint Pride Day, and there's different activities that's available, people will go up there and they're going to see what type of businesses are available to them. And the same thing happens up the downtown, and the same thing happens up the Globe. And as far as I'm concerned, if we can help our businesses, we've got, as a community I'm talking about, okay, we cannot be a detriment to our businesses. We have to be the backbone that goes out there and make sure that those businesses get what they need to promote themselves and to promote their area, and allow people, and it's a win-win-win situation, because it promotes the city, it promotes the businesses that are in different areas, and you know what, the people that go to them have a great time. I mean, and because most of them are family events, especially what you're trying to do. I understand that's a Christmas
yes,
type of...
so it's the kids from the neighborhood schools. They're going to be there doing some Christmas carols. We have the band that was in here from TJ Music going to be there too. We're in touch with the impersonator of Michael Jackson. He has a team of kids that dance with him, so he's going to be there. We're making plans for him to be there. We have the business participating with the window contest, so they're decorating the windows, they're showing what they have for sale, the best they have for sale for Christmas gifts and stuff. So it's like, it's going to be, you know, I already contacted the moonwalks. We're going to have a couple of moonwalks there for the younger kids to jump in, and you know, so I think it's going to be a great event. Seven Hills is going to provide me the hot chocolate for the kids, you know. Dunkin' Donuts will be there with coffee and donuts. So all this, it's donated to the kids. So I think it's going to be a really nice event. Really nice.
Well, I want to tell you, most of the events that go on in the city, such as what you're speaking of, are very successful, and as you say, it's family oriented, and you know, people can go down there. There's going to be police there to ensure that the peace is kept. We're going to have a couple of firemen there just in case they're needed, and if I just don't think that there's anything that should stop it. I think that we should promote it, and when you came to me and told me about the fact that you were having such a difficult time, that's when I asked that we you know, we meet with everybody, and it's been
And was
very
done on the
successful.
following week. I have to thank you for that. Was
Well, you don't have to thank me. That's my job. That's you know, that's what we run for. Is to
first,
get
I
it
have to
done.
thank myself, you know, to go in front of City Council and, you know, and tell everybody what's going on. And the second, I have to thank you because you took action on the following week and you made the meeting possible, and everything is already done and it's going to happen.
Yep. Well, if I could just kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about the council itself, because, you know, from what you hear when you talk with people, or even, you know, if you listen to the radio, which we know you have a show on SAR, that's another thing he does.
Yes.
You know, everybody that I talk to says that this is probably one of the best councils that have been out there for a while, that, you know, everybody is trying to work together to make things in this city better. And is that I'm sure that's your impression too, right?
Yes, I'm going to tell you, I think the council is very diversified. I think it's a diversified council. We all come from different social backgrounds, I guess you could say, and at the same time, we all have different viewpoints on things. But it's great because it's so diversified that all the different points of view are brought to the table. And I just find it, for the most part, even though we may not agree on everything, but you get the different viewpoints out, and I think it's a pretty good council, to be honest with you. And I'm kind of sad to say that one person who I've worked very well with is leaving, and that's Eric Poulin. I'm telling you straight up that I am going to try to talk him out of that. Okay.
Can start a petition, right?
I'm going to start a petition. I might have a writing campaign for him. Okay.
There we go.
But I think that Eric and I have worked on many things together, and we continue to work on things together. And I'll tell you, I, for one, am going to miss him tremendously if he does not run. Because I'll tell you what, I find him to be very articulate. I find him to be a very hardworking counselor. And, you know, when we've worked on problems, I'll tell you, you almost have to run to keep up with him because he wants things done yesterday, I guess you could say. And he's just been a tremendous asset, I think, to the city of Fall River and to the Fall River City Council. And I personally am going to miss him if he goes, and I'm hoping that he changes his mind. And anybody that sees him, convince him to stay on the council, because he's been a huge asset to the city of Fall River.
I agree.
We end in 2012. What do you think will be the top issue that you had to face on city council?
Next year.
This year?
This year.
What did you done?
Well, I think the top issue that well, let me put it this way. The thing that I point to that I think that this council did this year that was huge, and a lot of people probably don't realize it, is the waterfront district that we put down on the waterfront. Because before, a lot of companies would come into our community, and if they wanted to go do almost anything on the waterfront, they had to go for a variance. And as you well know, if a business person is looking for a variance, they have to come in with plans, and you know, you have to get all these things, and you could spend quite a bit of money, and then you go for your variance, and if you don't get your variance, you spent all that money for nothing. You could be up around $20,000. The nice thing about what the city council has done by changing that is now when a business person comes into Fall River and looks at the waterfront, he or she knows that there's a very good opportunity for them to get this. They don't need a variance. They know that if they want to put a business down there, that we're receptive to ensuring that that's happening. And I think that the waterfront is a vital part of Fall River's revitalization. We not only have the waterfront, we have Commerce Park, we have the Industrial Park, and now we've got Innovative Way, which is known as the Bio Park. And all of these together, working together, if we all stick together and work together, I think Fall River has a bright future. And I think that started this year.
I agree. I mean, because just that Remy's itself, to me, that's almost a tourist attraction, because they only have them in Boston. So it's
Yep.
going to draw people from outside of the area too. So I think that's a great start.
But let's look at what's happened down at the waterfront since we've changed it. We've got Remy's, we've got the Red Clipper.
Red Cedar.
Oh, Red Cedar, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I called it the Red Clipper, I'm sorry.
No problem.
The Red Cedar.
Yep.
Now you've got the old Regatta that's being renovated, okay, and I understand that they're going to be bringing in a good Italian restaurant, that's what I heard anyway. And then you've got, what is it, they're calling it the Toboggan restaurant that's being built now down near Mike Lund's place. So there's another restaurant that's going in. And the thing is all of them are taking advantage of the water view that's available on these restaurants. And Remy's, as you point out, I'm going to tell you, Remy's is quite a place, because Remy's not only does it seat probably 225 people, but they're also going to have an outdoor patio, and they're going to put a little dock there so that people can bring their boats up. And going further, they're also going to put a beach across the street from there.
Wow.
And the owners of the Commonwealth Landing are going to put a beach there so that people can go swimming. Wow. So they're going to try to make it more recreational, and I also understand that they're buying more property down there to do other things down there.
Very good. I think, wow, 30 minutes.
Yeah, went by quick.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Yes.
It's that talk show.
And we don't have the open lines in here, too, you know. So, Ray,
Thanks a lot.
thank you for coming, and you're doing
It's been my pleasure.
excellent job at the City Council and all the boards you serve, you know. We just mentioned one, but you serve a lot of boards.
Yeah, I'm on 5 different boards.
Yeah, I know.
That's okay.
But thank you. I hope this will not be the first and last time. We want to bring you back. It's so many issues that we can talk.
Well,
with you.
anytime I'd be happy to come back. John,
Great.
thank you for
Thanks a
having me.
lot.
Carlos,
Thank you. Thank you,
thank you
Ray.
so much for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Yep, great.
And we will come back next week again. Thank you, and see you next week.
Have a good night.